Welcome to Since Rookie Season.
Well, the summer before.
A heated rivalry fan companion podcast where your hosts, Amanda, Lau, and Lauren, break down the episodes from the Crave Canada television series, the Game Changers novels, and various media surrounding this fan phenomenon.
Okay, so today we're looking into episode 5, I'll Believe in Anything. So stay with us as we go to Tampa, we get vulnerable, and see the best public kiss in the universe.
All right, welcome back. As a reminder, which, I've said only a million times, we're talking about what makes heated rivalry so addictive. Like, what is in this story and the way that it was given to us that allows for this amount of obsession and re-watching. I will say that the other day I was feeling sad and I put on episode 5 and it immediately made me feel better. I only watched maybe 5 minutes of it. But then I won't watch the rest of it later. But yeah, it really, really was an immediate serotonin boost, which I loved.
It always does that. Yeah. I was so sad because HBO has finally given us heated rivalry in Latin America. And I was super happy to, tune in to take my notes for the episode on HBO Latin America. But they're doing 1 episode per week. So they're only in episode 3.
Oh, no.
So by the time they have episode 5, we would have probably be done recording the episodes of the first season.
That's crazy. I can't believe they're releasing them week by week. Did they do that with... I wonder if they did that with the other places that it's been released either,
That's an excellent question. They're doing that here, and I was very disappointed.
Yeah, if you watch Heated Rivalry for the first time, not VPN, and you're in Europe or the UK or in Latin America or South America, let us know how they released it. Is it episode by episode or did they give you it all at once? Because I really want to know, because that's very interesting.
Yeah. I've also heard a lot about the subtitles. People are complaining. People are not happy about how the Latin American subtitles are. Obviously, this is hardcore fans that had watched it before with a VPN and now are watching it on HBO Latin America. So we still HBO has a reputation of not being very good with subtitles, and once again, we have that issue.
Yeah, I actually noticed when I was rewatching episode 5 this week that they finally changed the subtitle in the episode when Ilya's playing with the kids in the pool and he goes no, splash her. It used to be flesh her for the longest time.
What?
And it was Flesher, Flesher. And they finally changed it to splash her. I finally noticed that this week. And I've rewatched so many times. So
that's wild. I did not notice that. Also, before we get into this episode, I have something so crazy that I want to talk about, to shout out, and I mentioned it at the top of the episode. As I think we mentioned, we took last week off, but the week before, I mentioned that I was going to visit Lauren in Chicago. And it was so fun. We went to a heated rivalry party, but that's not the part that I want to shout out. Oh my god. So first of all, it was so crazy getting to Chicago. So I'm flying out of undisclosed location in Florida. It is tropical. It is on a coast. But anyway, so there was the TLDR on that part is that it was a 20-hour delay. I was supposed to leave at 4 p.m. on a Thursday. We did not end up in the air until noon Friday. It was nuts. But during that time, which we didn't even know it was delayed till the next day until 11 p.m. So I had sat 10 minutes from home for 7 hours from 3 p.m. to 10:30, whatever it was. And as I'm sitting there, I'm you look at the people around you, there's a guy in the section across from me, in the little row, the next row over basically. Probably is 50s or 60s, I think. He's reading Heated Rivalry. And I'm oh my god, no way, twin, hey. And I don't go talk to him but he's at the end, he's definitely at the cottage. And so I'm oh my god, I'm trying to gauge his reactions. Also, I was watching I'll Believe in Anything to take notes for this recording. So I was what a crazy world. But I think it was him and his partner that were on their way back home to Chicago because I overheard him talking to someone else. But also, as they told us that the flight was delayed to the next next day, that guy reading a heated rivalry starts yelling at the gate agent. And I believe that no one deserves to get yelled at while they're at work. And I share his frustrations. And also, that doesn't mean we take it out on the gate agent. But I was like, dude, we're better than that. Like, we do not, as heated rivalry consumers, we do not yell at people. It was the whole thing.
No.
But that's not where the story ends. So the next day, I begrudgingly or frustratedly or whatever, I get on the plane and I see, I'm in row, I don't even remember what row I'm at. I'm in one of the rows in the middle-ish. And I see down the way there's a girl in a seat near mine who has a hat on that has words on it. And I'm like, there is something that is telling me that I need to read this hat. I'm getting closer and it says, I'm going to, and it says, and I'm like, what does it say? What does it say? I know it's going to say something that I'm interested in. And I get closer and sure enough, it says, I'm going to the cottage. And I was like, girl, no, she's sitting behind me. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like kneeling on my seat. I haven't even put my bag down yet. I'm kneeling on my seat and I'm like, oh my God, you watch Heated Rivalry? And so we're like talking about it. I tell her that story of the guy from the gate who was reading the book and then yelled at the gate agent. It was a whole thing. And I told her about the podcast. So, if you're listening, shout out to you. I didn't know her name or her email or her Instagram or her phone number or anything, but shout out to her. Hit me up. It was so crazy. It was so awesome to like meet someone in the wild like that and get to like have a little moment together. And then we're on the flight and I am reading this book that I was reading. My friends from book club recommended it. It's a lovely book. It's called Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Yeah. It's sapphic. It's so fantastic. It's a beautiful book. But I'm reading it and I'm getting towards the end and I hear like a commotion behind me and I just like turn to see like, and someone's just like getting up or coming back. But the girl behind me, Heated Rivalry Girly, is like, oh my God, I'm reading that book too. And I'm like, no way. No way. And I was like, we would be such good friends. I just thought it was so cool that like we are both on this flight. We both consume Heated Rivalry. We're reading this like really highly rated book. I know the odds are like high, I guess. Like it's not that crazy, but I thought it was a very sweet moment that I shared with this stranger where like we had both suffered this long delay and we consumed the same media, and I was like just finding a bit of companionship in everyday strangers. And really shout out to that girl. We like walked together at the Chicago airport a bit, like on the way to baggage claim, and Heated Rivalry was in one of the, like the little shops they have, and she's like telling her friend like, oh yeah, like that's that like the long, or I don't remember what she was talking about, one of the sequel books, and I was like, oh my God, like look. And it was just so fun. So I have been thinking about this. So as of recording this was almost like 2 weeks ago. This episode still isn't coming out for another 2 weeks. So this is almost a month in the past. But, so I don't even know if she's still listening. But shout out to her for real, for real. That was really awesome. And I have been, every day, I'm like, I've got to tell that story on the pod. I've got to tell that story. So
that's been thinking of you, girl in the airport.
Please girl on the plane.
Hit them up.
Girl on the plane.
Yeah. She was so cool. I was like, maybe I'll see her at the Heated Rivalry party. I did not, but also we had so much else going on at that party.
Oh my God, that. Amanda, I have like these really adorable pictures of Amanda outside in the snow. Because it was like, we got to the party and then I was like, I got an alert on my phone because it tells me when it starts snowing. And I was like, Amanda, it's snowing. And Amanda, being the sweet little Floridian, was like, can we go outside? And I was like, absolutely.
I did not ask. I did not
I was
ask.
like, no, we're going outside. I was like, Amanda needs to go see So.
Lauren tells all of like the bag check, the security.
All of my friends and stuff. So.
It was just so funny that I got ratted out as the like whatever, and it's not that you wanted to go smoke.
Shush! I wanted to have a cigarette.
It was great. No, it was so much
fun. I love
fun.
having a cigarette.
They played the end of they played the skip kiss, like they played the whole scene of the Admirals winning the cup.
Yeah.
They played the whole thing and the crowd went nuts. You would think it was like someone just won the Super Bowl. What is even that? It was awesome. It was so fun.
Yeah. Shout out to bestie Eden Strader for being Chicago's favorite lesbian and amazing. And shout out to Seth for also hosting a great party. Like, you guys together, dream team. If you're Sapphic and in Chicago, come to Garden of events. They're so fun. I'm just going to do a little shout out because I love them and I love being Sapphic and Garden of events. So, yeah.
Engage in community.
Engage in your community. Get a community. Yeah. Get a queer community.
Yes, they're the best.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, speaking of queer communities, let's get into this freaking episode, bro. Okay, we open on this episode after we've been emotionally destroyed in episode 4. We're in the middle of this gay nonsense. We're deep in it. We're here. We're vibing. We open. There's an alarm going off. Rose is leaving. I don't know. Do you think this is supposed to be like directly after that night? Or do you think it's supposed to be like, it's supposed to be directly after that night, right?
No, because afterwards in episode 6, Ilya is like all jealous. Shane says like only twice. And I think this is a different night where he didn't manage to have sex with her again. So
yeah.
I think we are getting like a different night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because then he does go to the airport, and Marlo, when Ilya goes to the airport, Marlo's like, did you get lucky last night? And first of all, we never talk about that Ilya enough, the hoodie under the blazer, Ilya. But that's why I was like a little confused, because I was like, is this the same night? That didn't really look like Shane's Montreal bedroom to me from what I remember. So I was just like very confused on like where we were in the timeline. But Rose is basically being like, I'm going to leave. And Shane's like, I'm sorry for underperforming. I think this season is just really stressing me out. Which, like, baby, I understand that completely. But also, like, this is a moment for sure. And also, Rose is kind of like, let's get a drink or like get dinner this week. Just the two of us, which is different. It diverges from the book, because Shane in the book, he shows up to dinner and he sees that it's just going to be the two of them. Like, it's kind of more, he gets more blindsided by it. But I think this moment where Rose is like, hey, we should get dinner, like just the two of them this week. I think that is like being very like, I think that's being like very aware of like Shane and his routines and things like that. So shout out to Rose for being a disabled ally. We love that. We love that from her.
Are we going to the Man in the Crease part next?
Oh God, I hate them so much.
The Man in the Crease?
I hate them. They're so mean. Like, leave Scott Hunter alone for a second. They're like especially mean to him, which bothers me. Like, they're obsessed. Because if you have players that are not doing well in this huge pool of people that are playing the sport, why are you spending such long conversations and time to just
rag on them?
Yeah.
I mean, like, if we think about, like, I mean, this is mostly how, because, like, I have friends that are, like, sports podcasters or, like, make sports content and stuff. And so, like, sometimes they will say things to, like, rage bait people to get them to, like, watch their content and stuff. But, like, these are men who are making, like, multi-million dollars to play a sport. And, like, they absolutely 100% deserve all of the critiques if they are playing badly. Because, like, what do you mean you're playing badly? I am giving you all of this money and you're still not doing well. And especially if, like, it is, like, a continuous, like, thing. Like, the Leafs got this a lot for, like, not being able to perform well in the playoffs, because the Leafs can never perform well in the playoffs. And, like, it, like, seriously makes fans pissed off, because it's like, why am I giving you, like, all of this money, all of this, like, time, all of this dedication to be a fan of the sport, and then, like, you are, like, not delivering, like, what you are capable of. Like, Scott Hunter is more than capable of being a Stanley Cup winner. Like, the Leafs, Austin Matthews, like, William Nylander, they are more than willing, or, like, more than capable of being Stanley Cup winners. And to, like, be just, like, petty little assholes about it is just, like, very, like, it's, like, very, like, I don't know. Like, I just have no sympathy for male athletes or, like, men athletes. Like, there's nothing in your life. Just kidding.
Listen, I understand that in real life, because I don't really care about sports. Scott is my baby. He must be protected. He's a sweet man. He's a sweet man. He's going through a lot. And I have no sympathies for white male podcasters, which I assume Man on the Crease is full of white men. So, yeah.
But also, why are you apologizing for a white man? Why are you apologizing for Scott Hunter?
Because he is sweet and he's my son.
Well, Man on the Crease Man in the Crease, pardon, is somewhat important in the structure of the show because they set up for us the All Stars theme as East versus West. So this is going to be important later with Shane and Ilya on the same team.
Yeah.
We're getting dinner.
Yeah, we're getting dinner. I love this. Like, this scene is so, so important to me because it like opens with Rose kind of being like, oh, like Miles is like, you're so cute. And I'm already clocking that as like, oh, like this is gonna go bad. Like, this is not what Shane wants. Like, have I ever told you how cute you are? Like, I've said that to men that I'm gonna break up with.
Oh no, why? How does that make sense?
Because I just like immediately clock that as kind of like a friend zoning tactic. Like, I just like, it's like, you're not like, okay, Amanda, you always quote that Chapel Roan line where it's like,
oh, call me hot, not pretty.
Call me hot, not pretty, right? Because when you want people to be sexually into you, like, you know, she should be like, Shane, you're so hot, you're so sexy, like all of this stuff. But she goes, have I ever told you how cute you are? And you're like, oh no.
I understand.
This is a great scene. Yesterday I watched Dan and Phil's reaction to this episode, and the way they were locked in for this scene, they were so worried of like how it's gonna go, and they were stopping every single time to say like, she is amazing, we love Rose, we want a Rose in our lives. They were like, we never had someone like that. And I was so happy that we got a different conversation that we usually have in media. We usually have like, if you think of like Love Simon and other like man who's gay but is not sure dating a woman who's a friend, you usually have like this whole drama where the woman like discovers that she is like, that this man is gay, and they take it super personally, and at the end, yeah, in almost every single one of this, they make up and they're friends, but there's always like this betrayal. And I love and of course Love Simon is about teenagers, so that makes sense. But I love how emotionally mature and attuned she is to understand that he actually likes her as a person. He thinks, if I'm gonna like a woman, it's gonna be this woman. And it's like, this man is torturing himself. And I've been through this a lot of times. I'm just gonna help him. And I love her. I love her for that. I love that she is in a great place with herself and her self-esteem, that she is not hurt by this, but actually happy to win another friend because she loves Shane. And I said this last week, I love that we do get chemistry between them. This is not a matter of we do not go well together as two humans that interact. This is about sexuality. But we can be the best of friends because we do have chemistry. And that happens a lot of the times. People are trying to comply to social standards about sexuality. They do go for the person that they feel they click with, and they convince themselves or are confused about the difference between platonic love and sexual and romantic love. So I love this. I think it's one of the most powerful scenes we have in these series, and it's a no-brainer that it's part of one of the episodes that broke all the records online, and that are like, I think this is the episode that got best reviews and all of that all over. So it makes a lot of sense. It's super cool, and I love that we start with this conversation and we're not dragging the viewers through anxiety for 20-30 minutes before resolving this drama.
Yeah, for sure.
It's such a weight off his shoulders, I think. Like, she really eases him into it, and he is a little unsuspecting until she's like kind of poking at him a little bit and like gently opening him up, and he's like, he tears up and he gets to a point where he can only nod or shake his head. He's thinking of Ilya when she asks if it was better when it was with a man, and it's so sweet. We also we get one of the most iconic moments in the show, dare I say. We get the Hull and Peg joke. Bro's got jokes. He's so funny. Shane is so funny, and no one else gets to see that or understand that, but he has such a specific sense of humor that is really endearing. But he says, I'd rather be the Hole of the Peg, like it's true. He is little bottom boy Shane, you know, like I don't know. And Rose is like, yeah, that makes sense. One of my favorite scenes.
And everything in this scene, I was saying, like, it doesn't drag us with our anxieties for a long time, even before we fully understand what's going on. If you don't clock it like Lauren did, the second the second Rose started talking, the music is telling us it's gonna be all right. The music is telling us this is sweet, this is a good moment. And also, in non-verbal cues that we get like Hudson's hand is doing a lot in his acting, the way he covers his face, his mouth, the way he's like soothing himself by stroking his like lips. It's a beautiful depiction of someone who's very overwhelmed, who's feeling perceived at a level that they're not comfortable with, but who's also coming to terms with it and allowing this other person to have this conversation with them. So I really loved it. But both Hudson's and Connor's acting had like, it's all on the small details. If you follow their hands or eyes or voice, there's where you're gonna find like the key to what they're doing in a scene, which I love.
Yeah, I started watching when I was rewatching this. I started like, normally what I do is I like watch like the whole scene, but I really like zeroed in on like Hudson's acting this most recent rewatch. And like, even at the beginning of the like scene, you can see him when she like mentions like, are there any out gay hockey players? Like, you can just see his fucking like face drop. You can see like the anxiety immediately set in. And I think this scene is also really important because it's one of the only scenes that we get in so far in these two books, or in this heated rivalry universe, where Shane gets to have like autonomy over his coming out story. Because like, long game spoiler, if you've read those books, here's my one allotted spoiler for the episode. Shane and Ilya are like pretty brutally outed in the second book. And then we think about, you know, like in episode 6, like Shane's dad finds them, like, and like he doesn't get the autonomy to like tell his own like coming out. But like with Rose, she really like gives him the space to be like, yes, I am gay. Like, yes, this is like who I am. This is like the journey that I'm on. And so I think that's also really powerful that it happens with a friend and not with like parents or whatever. Because like that is in reality a lot of our like similar to a lot of our coming out stories, you know, like we maybe interact with our friends first and tell them that we're queer first before we go to our parents or larger institutions to let them know. And so I like those kind of echoes that this has as well. And then I was also thinking like, poor Rose. like
yeah.
This girl has been through it. Like she's like, you're like, I've dated like 80% of my former boyfriends are gay. Like she was like, I'm gonna go date a hockey player. like they're all straight. Like there's gonna be no problems. I'm not gonna get a gay boyfriend. And then you're like, Rose, sweetie, my love. But then I'm also like, Rose, are you a little safe space? Are you a little, you know? Or bang my line, Rose. Are you know?
The people that ship like Rose and Svetlana, it's so real. It's so true. And also pair Rose with Ilya's gaydar and they would be unstoppable. They would sniff out everyone. Like if they already Ilya has the gaydar, which if you don't understand what I'm referring to, in the rest of the books and the rest of the Game Changer series, Ilya just happens to somehow find all of the other queer hockey players that he encounters, like in the teams that he plays. And so just pair him up with Rose and they would be so unstoppable. I would love to see that AU.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, and I mean, poor Rose, but at the same time, this girl loves a gossip, you know? So imagine the amount of gossip that she is like. She is so good at reading people. And
Yes.
she is just like, she is getting friends, like good guy friends that she likes and doesn't have to have sex with, which sounds quite fun.
Every girl needs their gays. Like,
yeah. So I fully understand that it must be frustrating at some point where you're like, what does this say about me? But at the same time, she's winning here. Like, and apparently it hasn't been like traumatic for her. She's just laughing it off and she's having a great time. And she's like, oh, honey, I can help you because I've been through this conversation so many times that I'm just gonna guide you slowly and very carefully through it, and you're gonna be fine.
Right. And I think this really like ties in well to our like fan mail that we got from last week, which was like about like, oh, don't like trick some straight woman into like being your girlfriend. And it's like, this is way more the reality with Rose and Shane, like of like people who find out that their partner is queer after dating them or whatever. And so like, I think this is like, it's just such a healthy representation of like having like friends that are of the opposite gender and like just really having them as a support system. And so I really love this like moment for Shane. And then he finds out that he can like trust Rose with this because he doesn't like, even as he says as she's getting in the car, like he doesn't know about things and stuff or whatever. Like he doesn't have anyone to talk to about it. You know, like the only person he can talk to about it is Ilya.
Rose gives Shane something that is very precious, I think, and I love that we keep seeing the women of this show being the best allies. Great representation, historically accurate, the way women have been there for the gay community and for their gay male friends is so important. And I really love the change in the narrative that this is not the source of the conflict. It's not about how is Rose going to react, and we're not using her as only like an obstacle. She's a person who is gonna be there for more than just being Shane's short period girlfriend. So I really like it. I feel refreshed by this change of narrative.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Hell yeah.
And I mean, I think it's like, it's very well paralleled by like the scene where Ilya and Svetlana are like hanging out in bed. And like Svetlana does get like a lot of time this episode, especially as Ilya like goes to Russia. And so I think it's like, it really shows that like both of these people like who have really struggled with like having support and like feel like they don't like they can't be themselves because they will like lose something in some way, shape, or form, still have these like background characters, these people that love them, these people that care for them and give them like unconditional support and are really important to their stories. And so I think that's also like a really nice juxtaposition between Svetlana and Rose this episode as well.
Yeah, I agree, and we almost immediately get that conversation in bed that you're mentioning, and Svetlana is reading the room so well. Not only the hockey, because we already know, like she and Juna are like the best ones at reading hockey, even better than Shane. But she's also reading Ilya so well, and she is gently pushing him to acknowledge that he knows Shane is a good player and that he knows that Shane is good looking, but she won't push further than that. She's like, okay, enough for today. Let's breathe for a while. And then she mentions Rose Landry.
Yeah, she starts talking about Shane in a positive way, and he goes, if you say so. And she gives him such a look, and that definitely says, like, you are not fooling me, pal. Like, absolutely. She brings up Rose, which is such a touchy subject. Also, I think it's really funny that she's so smart about hockey, and Ilya could not give less than a shit, and it's his fucking job. Like, he does not care. He does not care the way that Shane cares. He does not care the way that Svetlana cares. He only cares in that it gets him paid and that lets him do what he wants to do.
I think that he has so many things that he has to care about that at this point his plate is full. Like I saw that on the notes and I was like, there's a lot of discourse around Ilya not being into hockey, and I think that he enjoys it. And when he's on the ice, he's having a lot of fun. But when he's not on the ice, he has so much on his mind. He has to be on constant alert, and I think that does take away the ability to enjoy and be obsessed about like your job when you need to be on top of so many things. Like he is managing his own family from the distance. He's like, here's money for this and this and this and this, and please, stupid brother, do what you're being told and don't abandon our father, and don't use this money for cocaine, use it for his care. And at the same time he's like, and now Shane left me and is dating this other woman, and now we have to play together. So they're talking about the All-Stars game, and probably Ilya is freaking out about what is this going to be like to play with Shane in the same team when they are not on speaking terms. So I think that indifference ties very well with Ilya's mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that we're getting hints regarding his depression in the
Mm-hmm.
future, and that like just not caring about so many stuff besides like what is immediately urgent. And he's like, hockey, I got it, like I can handle it even if I don't log in, so that is not a priority right now. And I hope that we get in this new book that is coming, we do get him enjoying hockey a bit more now that all of these things are out of the way, you know, and now that he's playing with the people he loves. I do want to see Ilya enjoy hockey.
I think that we will, especially because him and Shane will be on the same line, we're assuming, on the Centaurs in Ottawa. I think they might be having, both of them will be having a better time than where they were before.
Yeah. I like the winger comment. It was really funny from Svetlana because like a lot of times people who play center can play wing. Like it's very common to see like center men or center players be able to also play wing. So there are people who are like true centermen, and those people like Shane are really going to be like developing playmakers. And so that's why like the right or left wing will not work as well for them. And when I say wingers, I mean forwards in the game, because there's 3 forwards on every team. You have a right wing, a left wing, and a center. And so if you are a playmaker, it's really hard for you to be a winger because you direct all of the plays, right? And so like you are the one that's passing up into your wingers or telling your defensemen where they should go. You are being both like a forward and defenseman, kind of like almost a midfielder in soccer. And so like developing a two-way skill as a centerman is really important, being able to play both offensive and defensive. Whereas someone like Ilya is more of maybe a natural winger, and he maybe just plays center because he's the captain. It makes more sense. I see Ilya's play more as like a really good goal scorer. I think that he would be really great on Shane's wing. Like I've said before in the podcast, and probably people have heard me say in general, but I don't think they would put them together on a line all of the time at Ottawa. I think it would be better if they were first and second line centers, just to spread their abilities across. Yeah, I love this kind of little peek into their hockey styles and how they differ at this All-Star game. So is it time for us to head to Tampa?
Yeah.
I think it is. We finally get a timeline mention, because up to this point we're a little loosey-goosey in time. I mean, we knew it was closer to the last episode's title card, but here we get the 2017 All-Stars, Tampa. We're in Florida, baby! Also, resident Floridian, I will say Tampa low-key sucks. Tampa isn't even on the coast. It has a bay.
Wait, I kind of love Tampa. Shut up.
I like Clearwater and St. Pete a lot better. I know they're different, and like I just like the actual coast of it more, you know? Like,
yeah, but Ybor City in Tampa is so cool.
Yes, the people I know from Tampa, I guess Tampa is a big place, and the sections within it are very different. But people I've known from Tampa can be very like, it's very hit or miss.
Well, okay, so like Clearwater is like just all fucking Scientologists, which I had a friend who lived in a house that like, yeah, no, literally, that Tom Cruise used to stay in when he would go to Tampa for Scientology stuff. And we like, one time I was visiting her during a hurricane because it was on like my side of the coast of Florida, and I wanted to go to the other side because I was stupid and I didn't know. It was my first year in Florida. I moved down to Florida, and like 3 weeks later there was a major hurricane, and I was like, oh, okay. So I went to St. Pete, like Clearwater area, and we drove around in the St. Pete area and like looked at all the Scientologists just like standing out on the corner trying to get people to become a Scientologist. And then St. Pete feels like St. Pete's like very gritty. Like it's very like dive bar feels. Like it's very beach town. Like no shoes, no shirt, like no problem, like kind of vibes. Whereas I feel like Tampa's a little more like upscaley. I don't know. I also know that like in Tampa, there's a lot of like Chicago transplants.
Really?
So like I had like a lot of like aunts and uncles like had places in like Tampa, St. Pete area, because like that's where all the Chicago transplants go, is on that side of the state and on the Gulf.
I've been to USF a few times for either concerts or college tours or other miscellaneous things, and that part of Tampa is just like it reminds me a lot of my hometown, which is on another undisclosed part of Florida that I'm not going to actually put out there, but it reminds me of my hometown, where it's just like 6 lanes of road and like strip malls, and like it's not cute, and it's like kind of shitty apartments. Like I don't know, my impression of Tampa is not positive. It's not one of my favorite parts of Florida. Granted, a lot of Florida sucks, and I will say that out there, even like the urban.
Yeah, I was like, you're describing all of Florida. It's all strip malls and like apartment buildings and concrete and gross shit.
I mean, I've lived in some better parts of Florida in my time, but seeing this in the show, I was like, man, they got that fancy filter over it that makes it look like it's a little nicer. But Tampa's not really on the coast. You still got the Pinellas County out over there.
It's on the bay. It's on like the Tampa Bay. Like, also, I think that side of Florida is nicer anyways because of the Gulf.
I'm an Atlantic ride or die. Like that is my whole.
I know you are. Anyway. Well, I was just sitting here made like these stupid fucking Floridians.
Well, and because people throw Tampa into Central Florida, and I'm like, I don't really know.
For me, it's the Caribbean ride or die. You know, like to me, nothing compares. Nothing compares. So I'm just listening here like, sure, Florida.
Sure. No, I like Tampa. I went in, my best friend Al and I, we took a trip to Tampa to see Beyonce. It was like literally the hottest Beyonce concert on record. It was like 103 degrees outside, and it was an outdoor stadium. It was hotter than her concert in Dubai was, which was like crazy. But we stayed in Ybor City, which is where like all the gay clubs are, and like
that's true. I would go back to Ybor.
Yeah, it has a really cutie like nightlife and stuff. So yeah, I really enjoy Tampa. I mean, it's not like if I'm like, oh, let's go to Florida, it's not like my number one. Like I love Miami. Like I would go to Miami hands down. But Tampa's fun. So that's my take. But anyways, we get these boyos in Tampa Bay.
Personal check-in. No, before that, personal check-in. 2017, I was 16. Sorry. Well, what time of year is this?
Yeah,
this is
spring.
like spring?
February.
Oh, ew. I was 15. I was not quite 16 yet. Yes, I was born in the middle of 01. Just right there in the middle.
Dios mío.
So 2017, I was 15. I had my learner's permit. This was the spring of my freshman year of high school. This was when I was starting my queer relationship. I know I mentioned it last time. I had the timing a little off. Queer relationship for end of freshman year of high school. It exploded and was such a mess, and I'm sure I'll bring it up again. But that's important because it's my queer history, and we're all queer history. And I'm putting it out there. And I was in Florida. I was still in Florida. I've been in Florida the whole time, but it's relevant to right now, so...
I was already with my current partner.
Mm-hmm.
We had just decided to go vegan together. So that is my second month as a full vegan, which has been one of the most amazing experiences of my life to do that with someone else. And we're about to experience the curse that started with 2016 in politics in my own country, with what do we call it, plebiscito para la paz. And it was really traumatic. I remember exactly what I was when that happened. That was a few months later than this timeline. So it was like a mix of really good things. Like in my last year, like by December that year, I would have finished my undergrad. And I was already starting to look at master's and PhD programs in the US to move out of Colombia and continue my studies. My partner was about to move to Boston in the summer. So yeah, it was... I actually, Lauren, February 2017, I was in Chicago because I was with my partner. He had a campus visit.
Oh my God!
At U Chicago.
At U Chicago.
I was like, I have some free time, and we have family and friends in Chicago. So I decided to join him and just be there for him. And it was so fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun, and we froze our ass off.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was freezing as hell. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I didn't live in Chicago at that point. In spring of 2017, I probably found out like that I got accepted to where I did my master's at. In Chicago, probably in that spring. I was still dating a man, T. And then I didn't move to Chicago until like August of 2017. So I was not like a Chicagoan just yet, but it was definitely like my best friend was at the same school that I was going to do my master's at. So it was like big for me. I was probably drowning in like grad school applications. I was also student teaching at this time.
Same.
And student teaching 7th and 8th graders in Indiana. And I cried every day of my student teaching, every single day.
Aww.
It was the worst time of my life. Crazy shit happened during it. My mentor teacher was one of my mentor teachers was like the worst human on the face of this earth. It was a really hard semester, and it really solidified that teaching K through 12 was not going to be for me. So I'm kind of glad that happened to me, because it like really put me on my like road to being a college professor. Yeah, I was definitely very, very nervous, but that's also when I kind of decided that I was going to start studying fan fiction and studying fan studies as like a part of my master's program, because my master's program had a really big like DH component, digital humanities component to it. So I was able to like learn a lot of skills during my master's degree that like aligned well with fan studies, which is now what I kind of basically have a PhD in. Although, according to some people on the internet, you know, my PhD isn't worth the paper that it's printed on, but
T.
Also, people's opinions are wrong.
Fanfiction is also part of queer history, so we're all on track, you know, like...
Listen, and if you go back to the history of the beginning of, like, when fandom became a thing, the reason why fandom became a thing was because of Kirk Spock fic from Star Trek. Like, that was what people were writing at fan conventions.
Yes.
Like...
It was Star Trek and X-Files.
Yes. Well, X-Files was, like, later, but it, like, really, like, in the 60s and 70s when fandom started, like, booming... Actually, very interestingly, you can go look at historical zines made by fans that are Kirk Spock related at the University of Iowa. They have a fandom zine library, and you can go like look at all of the historical like artifacts from early fandom, which is really awesome. And I like fan studies was like conceived as a field in the early 90s, which is when we start to see like X-Files come out. So yeah. That was definitely what we were all doing in 2017.
Speaking of fan studies, this fan do be studying Ilya fine as fuck at that bar. Oh my god.
Okay, this is my least favorite Ilya look, I think.
No, what? I hate the club one.
You hate
this
the
one?
Is
disagree.
I hate this shirt. I hate this shirt.
For me, there are two of the top of the like Ilya where I can't think about anything else, because all I'm looking at is him and how he looks, and it's this when he's at the bar in the floral shirt in Florida, and then also at the cottage where he's like asking if Shane about Yuna and David. Those are my two like Ilya, like his just the angle and the hair and the face. It's just really, I'm like, oh, my brain is like wiped out.
No, my top Ilyas are Russian bathroom Ilya in the tux.
Oh, true.
And like Ilya in the black sweatshirt with the blazer over it. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what they put in those fucking... And airport Ilya at the cottage episode, because the backwards hat, the glasses, and the sleeveless tank top.
I do like that one. That's probably my third. Lau, do you have any input, or are you just here?
I'm good. I'm just here. I only have strong opinions about his club look. That's it. This one I find so like, and I know that he in the book is feeling super ashamed of his look because Shane is rocking this suit. So he's like, oh, I look silly. But what I was focusing on it's his self-soothing with the ear again.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
And the way he just like drinks this Corona as soon as he sees Shane, like,
Without
I
a
need
line.
courage, liquid courage.
Yeah. Which, speaking of drinks and Shane, he breaks his no drinking during the season rule again. This is I think the second or third time that he does it, and I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's.
I don't know. I'm starting to see like Shane with the drinking as like liquid courage. Like I think Shane really buys into that like liquid courage kind of aspect of it. Like I think Shane fully goes into this knowing that he's going to see Ilya, like understanding that he's gay, knowing that he's going to have a conversation with Ilya. Like, so I think he's very much like, I am so anxious about this whole scenario. I need to have a beer, like, because otherwise I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And he's also flirty as hell. And this is part of the performance that he has, because he's like, I need to act cool. I need to, like, I have a new personality because I have new clothes. And he does tell, like, Ilya clocks it immediately, like, no ginger ale. And Shane is like, I'm feeling a bit wild. Wink, wink. And I've never seen Shane has this much game before. Like, the way he is attacking Ilya, like, Ilya is just losing it. He's like, why are you doing this to me? Like, I don't understand what's going on. Why are you flirting with me right now?
Yeah, well, Ilya, he tries to poke about the Rose situation. He's like, he tries a few times to try to like get at it, but like Shane's only picking up on it.
Oh, he's not subtle at all. He literally is like, did you bring anybody? I'm like sitting there watching it. I'm like, Ilya, come on, bro.
Yes, but Shane is going like r/whoosh just like right over his head. He's like, my parents didn't come because they're going somewhere soon or something. But Mexico. We do find it's like Cancun or something.
And he says I didn't feel like being managed this weekend.
Yes.
And to me, again, he's like saying, I wanted to be home alone. Like, I have plans. As we said, when we were teenagers, we would say like, tengo casa sola. My house is like empty. Come over.
My parents aren't home.
Like, there's no. Exactly. And this is giving that vibe. Like, I didn't want my parents to be here because I have something in mind that I want to be doing in my free time.
Exactly. And like when he first sits down, Ilya is like so standoffish. Like he's like, Captain, like, you know, like he's very like, and Shane's like, you can kind of see Shane being like, wait, what's wrong? And then as soon as Ilya's like, did you bring anybody? And Shane's like, no, I didn't like bring my parents. Ilya's kind of like, his like demeanor like immediately changes, like immediately. And they're like checking each other out, staring at one another. Like,
yes, Shane wants to kiss him so bad.
So bad.
There is so much. There's like a little bit of awkward tension, but they always have that sexual tension going on. But Vaughn comes and just breaks this tension. And after he leaves, there's this shot of them because beforehand, like the only shots we get, like first we get Ilya kind of zoomed out before Shane gets there, but then it's just kind of close-ups with them at the bar. But then after Vaughn leaves, there's the shot of them in the middle of the bar, center of the frame, zoomed out from the back of the bar. They're close together again, not like when they're on the couch when they're far apart or purposely distant. They are purposely close here. They are next to each other. Like Shane could have sat 2 seats away. He could have like scooted over. No, he is in Ilya's space, and that's
exactly where Ilya wants him.
Exactly. Finally, Ilya asks directly about the Rose situation, and Shane tells him they're not compatible, which will put a pin in. And Ilya looks at Shane's lips. Go watch it again. Ilya looks at Shane's lips. Like, they are wanting to make out so bad right here in this bar. They don't give 2 fucking shits. They both look drippy as hell. They're hot as fuck. Like, they are in Tampa. They're in like a wild city. They just want to make out. And then, speaking of drippy and wet.
Drippy and wet! Like, perfect segue into, god damn. I watched the behind the scenes of the pool scene the other day, and good lord.
Wait, you need to link that to me. I need to watch that.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, it's on Threads, so you need to get on Threads. But, get off Twitter. It's a hellscape.
It's my hellscape.
Him pushing out of the pool and, like, standing over Shane, like, oh, Dom Daddy. Get it. It's so hot. It's so hot. The dripping off the face, the body, the tiny fucking shorts.
The only daddy I got out of this was that he's so good with kids. Like, it's so cute. I did not get dog daddy out of this.
Okay, so daddy in every sense.
Daddy in every sense of the word.
Absolutely.
Two things here. Like, I love the daddy vibe, and I love how Shane is shamelessly checking him out when he comes like, Hollander, give me your wallet. But also, I said that I was watching Dan and Phil's reaction to this. The way Dan is like, he sees Ilya with the kids, and he's like, this is doing something for me. Like, I'm invested. This is like husband material. I love this man.
Yes, he's like trying not to watch, but you like those shades are so dark. He's not doing anything but watching. Like, also the shot where Ilya's like open mouth in the pool, like fake drowning. It's so funny to me. Like, you can just tell that they're like a perfectly balanced pair, like especially as parents. Like, Ilya is like the like wild dad that like gets all the kids in the pool and everything, while Shane gets a break because he needs a mental health break from all of the like support and love and everything else that he's doing for these children. And then Ilya gets to have like a break of like being the fun dad and being like the supportive dad in like the fun spaces and stuff. So like it is it's a good balance between the two of them.
You know damn well he does this with the Pike kids.
Exactly. I saw on Threads the other day someone pointing out that you can see Connor's background as a gymnast. Because when both in the scene with Svetlana in the bed and here, every time he jumps, he just like points his foot perfectly. Like, amazing, beautiful. But at the same time, we're doing the shark fin. I just love this man.
He's so funny. And I honestly think if he and Shane didn't have the conversation at the bar, this scene wouldn't have happened. Like, I don't think he would have been as funny or like he's like showing off for Shane. Like, he's like being like, look, I can be like funny and interesting because like he's like fully sold on this point. So other places where Ilya is fully showing off for Shane is at the All-Star game. We get them playing together for the first time. This, for me, as a hockey fan, is really hot. Like, I love the signals that other players, like the tapping of the, like, because that to me is like so quintessentially hockey. Like, the way that like players talk to one another on the ice, both through like their movements, but also through like how they actually verbally talk to one another. Like, that was like, I was like, oh, Jacob Tierney did his big one with this scene. He was like, okay, you guys have been bitching that the show isn't about hockey. Here's the hockey right now. Like, so hot. The no look pass is like something we all fucking dream of as happening to work in hockey. This is everything to me.
Ilya takes the opportunity to kiss Shane's cheek.
You know, and this is why I love social media AUs on Archive of Our Own. You know, Stan Twitter was going insane about that. You know, NHL Twitter like could not shut the fuck up about Ilya. Like, even like Shane's dad notices it and like mentions it in the 6th episode. Like, there was so much chemistry between the two of you. Like if Stan Twitter wasn't like, these guys must be fucking. Like, you guys have no eyeballs. Like, come on, y'all.
Yeah, they are so cute on the ice. It's
Calling off
awesome.
forever.
And they're so good together that I love that the fans are actually getting what they wanted when they ask repeatedly for them to be in the same team. Because it's like, I know I said I don't watch sports, but I do watch some sports. Sometimes I'm watching the Olympics right now. And it is so fun when you get good people together and they do amazing things. Like, that's exciting. So I also see the Twitter going crazy, even those who are blind to queerness, about the way these two men play together and the way they're unbeatable when they're together.
Yeah, I think your comparison to the Olympics is like perfect because like one of the reasons why I've been so excited to watch the Olympics is because we get like best on best hockey. Like, you are taking the best like players from each country and putting them on a team together. So you just get to see like magic on the ice every time you like watch the games. Like, the women's US team, by the time this episode airs, hopefully they will have won a gold medal. But they are like so in tune with one another. Every time I watch a game, I am like, Jesus Christ, these people are incredible freaking athletes. Like, unbelievable. they are doing things like on the ice that like you only can do with the best players. And it's happening with the US men's hockey team. It's happening with the Canadian men's hockey team. It's happening with all of these teams. And it just like, it is like why the Olympics are so exciting. I mean, I have a lot of like thoughts about like, you know, like mental health pressures, especially like if after like the Ilya Malinin upset that happened this year and like his kind of comments about like how if he had gone to the 2022 Olympics in Beijing, he would have been more prepared for like the mental pressures. And so I think there are like, even we've seen this like in the past with Simone Biles and like just the way that like the hyperfixation on these athletes for a very short amount of time can be very detrimental to their mental health and like this insane amount of pressure that we don't see other countries as like much as we do in the United States. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on that, but one of the greatest things about the Olympics is that you get to see like just such a high caliber of talent on the ice doing magic together. And that's what I imagine it feels like to watch Shane and Ilya actually play hockey together.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, then we move to this beach sunset that I love. It's one of the most romantic scenes that we get in this series, and we have the whole like I looked it up compatible. I thought I knew what it meant, but I wanted to be sure. And then the thumbs meeting, and Ilya is looking at Shane with hunger and with yearning. Like the yearning in the scene is like something else, and it's just like a small like preamble to what we're gonna get in the next scene that works so well. Like it works perfectly.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful shot, but it's such a thematically important shot too. Like this sunset we will come back to as well. And I also want to say they're not sitting too close, but they're not too far apart. They're still in the middle third of the frame, which I find to be important. And they're like so worried about being in public, even though they could probably hold hands and literally no one would notice or care.
Yeah.
But they still just, it's only thumbs. Like that's the most they can do in public. But I wanted to ask y'all, do you see the significance of the setting sun? Like, do you think that that has meaning for them here at this point in their relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can see it being like, because I mean, the exact next scene is like Shane coming out to Ilya, even though Ilya's like, you've sucked my dick for a really long time. Like, I know you're freaking gay. But like, it's one thing to like come out and actually say it and kind of like take that next step. And so I think this is definitely like the sun setting on one part of their relationship and moving into the next. I also think about this scene where it's the first time that Shane, we see as viewers, Shane offer up his offer to come to Ilya's room. Like in the past, it's always been like Ilya, like if we think about in the first episode, Ilya asks for Shane's room number. Ilya tells Shane 12 or 1221. He asks Shane to come to his penthouse in Vegas. Like he asks Shane to come over to his house in Boston. Like all of these things are like Ilya asking Shane to do things. And we finally see like Shane reciprocate. So it also could be like a moment like the sun setting on this could be like also like Shane's role as being kind of like a backseat passenger maybe in this relationship and like finally becoming a part of it and wanting to like go move forward with Ilya. So I think it's a really nice moment.
Yeah, and besides, I fully agree with you, Lauren. And besides that, I think the light that we get in this moment is very significant as well because we have seen them at night. And then last episode we were talking about how it's the first time that they're intimate during the day and they actually see each other at like daylight. And here is like the merging of both. Like you have this sort of light that allows you to admire the other person, but at the same time you can hide in it, so, like enough for them to touch in a very like subtle way, but still touch in public, which I love. That's what sunsets have like romantically, you know, like it's first beautiful to watch, but at the same time you do have like this mystery of the night that is coming and of this light that is not uncovering every single secret that you have, but it's allowing you to see some things. So that for me was one of the best parts of this is them having the freedom to touch slightly because of the kind of light that they're getting and because of where they are.
Yeah, that was really great insight. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't realize the importance of that at first, but then after watching something that happens in the cottage, I was like, oh, this is very important. So thank you for that. Then we get to Ilya's room, and he does get a call from Alexi, which the full iPhone interface, no longer just BlackBerry screen or something like that. This is full iOS, baby. Just wanted to throw that out there. Shane comes in and is stressed as hell. He sits. He tries to address the connection between them. Ilya will not give him an inch. Shane tells him that he's gay, which is just LOL. Like, it's supposed to be very serious, and to Shane, it's so serious, but to Ilya, it's so unserious.
He's
it's
like,
so,
bro, what do you mean you had my dick in your mouth? Of course you're gay. Like, bro, come on. No homo? What?
Yeah. And he's like, it's not just being gay, it's you, it's this. Like, I feel like we were something. And Ilya's like, we can't be something. They just go so back and forth. And I think I like you a little too much. And it's, oh.
I want to say something about this because I was nonverbal when I took my notes, but that means that I draw a lot of doodles that help me understand the blocking of this scene. So I need to use that. And also, Lauren, you're free to use that for teasers.
Of course. Yeah. Will do.
There's a lot of like drawing.
So Ilya breaks down. He drops the family lore about Irina dying and his dad is sick with dementia, and Shane climbs on top of him, kisses and hugs him, again using his body to reach through emotions, but we actually got emotions this time instead of just yelling, and I think that's really huge. I do think this is a new chapter for them. Like, they are actually talking to each other and trying to get through things, like how Shane was trying to talk to Shane was trying to talk to him about his feelings, but Ilya cannot have all that right now. He cannot have panic attack coming out on him right now. And this is the first scene they filmed, if I remember correctly. This was the first like actual scene, and then the first intimate scene was the Vegas scene, which is wildly monumental things to kick off the gate. But I mean, that just kind of launched them into that dynamic that they could hold through the rest of the season. So low-key iconic. But I thought that was really interesting. It was the first one they filmed. But I thought this was a really, really sweet moment of just the way Shane is just immediately there for him. He's not trying to have sex with him, but he is trying to be there for him with his body, like crushing him with his body weight and being like a weighted blanket. We do get the cut to black, but then we get back to Shane leaving, and Ilya says goodnight Shane. Shane says goodnight Ilya, and they both smile. So then they know they can be on a first name basis, and they can be intimate emotionally, and so this is just breaking through all sorts of barriers for them, and I really love it.
Yeah, I think this scene is a beautiful scene, and I was very tired when I took my notes, so I basically just made doodles to help myself understand how this scene is built, because I love to dissect how intimacy is built and how a lot of the cinematography is communicating to us where we are at this relationship and where they are emotionally. So when this scene starts, we have them being very away from each other. Like, Ilya is at the desk. He is visibly uncomfortable. Shane asks him to sit down, but Ilya is not quite sitting down. He's like halfway through actually being sat down. So he's like complying, but at the same time, he's resisting this conversation with his body and with his posture. And Shane is completely vulnerable. He is on this bed, sitting down, ready to pour his heart out, and he is not closing himself up physically at all, which is a huge contrast with our first intimacy scenes that we got in episodes 1 and 2, where he will always like cross his arms or protect himself with arms, hands, or knees. Here he's open. And then when Shane does the like boring comment, and you can see Ilya give up. You can see him like his whole body relaxes with that breath that he lets out, and he's just like, okay, this is happening. I'm gonna do this, and he moves to the bed. So he realizes that if he continues to resist this conversation, things are gonna end sort of like they ended the last time. So he's like, okay, we're gonna do this, but he's still resisting because he's terrified. And so Shane comes out, and this whole conversation, Ilya repeats a lot, why? But once he's on the bed, he's actually listening. He's just freaking out. And he turns his body towards Shane, even though he is constantly looking away because he is like so scared that he's getting angry. And we then get him turning back to Shane and screaming in his face like, I couldn't go back to Russia. And immediately Shane disarms him with, what would happen to you? And he breaks, his voice breaks when he says, I don't want to find out. And that's where you like understand that he is in like survival mode right now, and that's why he has been so close up, so tense, so aggressive. But you see him melting down all his defenses. And then Shane, how does Shane melt these defenses? By asking questions, which is something we didn't get before as much. Like he did try it in Vegas, but Ilya was not up for the challenge back then. And then we get to like, my mother is dead, father is sick, dementia, and he turns away again, and we have the one tear. And that's where, when we get them like merging in the same like spot, because Shane comes up to him and hugs him with hands and feet, like he's enveloping this huge man with his whole body, and he kisses him, he comforts him physically, yes, but also he's talking like, Ilya is saying sorry, and Shane is not like, what he would have done before is this kiss would have led to something very sexual. This kiss would not have been a gentle, comforting kiss, but it would have been the initiation of sex, so you can take your mind out like of these awful feelings that you're experiencing. Instead, we get him rocking him in this hug. And this is actually good for your nervous system when you're not feeling well. And we're gonna see other like super good technique in next episode, but emotional regulation benefits a lot from a lot of these movements that we see here. So for me, it was like, these bodies are telling a story about how key this moment is for that vulnerability that there are available to achieve. Because yeah, before we're having fun, like Rose is out of the picture and we're having fun and we're having chemistry, but right now we have to face our fears because this is getting serious. And it's completely normal to like, this is very on character for both of them, their reactions and the way they guide each other through this. Like, Ilya is angry because he's scared, not because he finds Shane annoying, which is something that I know a lot of people didn't read appropriately. This is a fear response. And I just want to remind everyone that the danger is very, very real.
Right.
Like, the consequences for being gay in Russia are terrifying. Okay, it might not be the most terrifying one that we have on the planet, but it is still not pretty. So I just want everyone to keep that in mind, that this is where this man is coming from. He is literally fighting for his life.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think this scene is really important because it helps establish the next scene. And then where Shane and Ilya are in his bed at his Boston house together. And Shane is like asking him questions about his family. And Ilya's like, you ask too many questions. Like, he's using this as a shield, like very much so. And he's not able to move past it until his father dies. Like, he is very much like, when his father dies and when he realizes that he won't be coming back to Russia, like I don't want to say it's like a complete change in personality, but it is a very obvious like change to Shane, and I think to viewers as well. Like, before, Ilya is very much being like, I'm not really sure, like, no, or rude, or like, as Lau was just saying. But like, I think this is like, when his father dies, it is a distinct change because he realizes, oh, I don't actually have to come back to this horribly homophobic and awful country anymore and see my family that hates me. Like, I can go be in Canada with the man that I love, and everything will be fine, or at least will be fine in the future.
Yeah, I think that's a great segue into him back in Boston, or what we get next in Boston, which is 2 weeks later. Hayden is like leaving, and Ilya calls Shane, which I wanted to say we get the haptic typing sounds from iPhones, and the classic iPhone like sent like the little bloop. Ilya's texting him to come meet up, and Shane is like, "No, we can't." As he's grabbing his stuff to go, he's like actively saying, "No, we can't." As he's like out the door, which I thought was like really funny.
Literally me.
Yeah, I was like, "LOL, girl." But yeah, they don't run off to shower. They do actually talk, and as y'all are saying, we do get the stops him with the too many questions, which is all of my friends at me. Amanda, you have too many questions. What is with the questions?
No, I think it's very different between you and your friends versus Ilya and Shane. Like for Ilya, this is like a really painful subject to talk about. Yes. You're just autistic.
Thanks.
I get you, Amanda. I get you. I've been that person in a situationship where the person is like, stop with the questions. I don't have answers. Like, shut up. But yeah, I like that here Shane is doing the same thing as Svetlana. Like, he pushes a bit, opens the door, and then understands the boundary and backs off. And he makes a joke and starts the banter again. So I think he's communicating like, if you ever want to talk about this again, I am here.
Yes.
But I also respect the fact that we are not only gonna have these moments and always be like this raw and vulnerable, and sometimes we can just like let it go.
Yes, for sure.
Montreal goes home crying.
Yeah, which we don't even get any ice time in the scene. It's just room to room. We don't even know who won. It's just Ilya saying,
"No, Montreal wins. Montreal wins."
Yeah, no. Montreal wins.
Montreal wins.
I thought
because Ilya is saying they owe him. They get money if they win, and then when he comes back in, he's like, "Oh no! You owe me money for every goal I scored."
Well, no. Okay, so what he tells them before they get on the ice is he said, "I will give you $1,000 for every goal that you score." So Montreal goes home crying. So then when he gets back he was like, "I will give us $1,000 for every goal you score." But then he's like, "I'm the only one who scored goals tonight. You guys didn't do shit." So that to me implies that Boston lost and Montreal won. Because I also think the team is a little dejected. And that's me using my context clues and my critical thinking skills.
Shut up. It wasn't super clear.
No, I'm referencing the person on the internet who told me that my PhD wasn't worth the paper that it was written on.
This is not against you, Amanda.
They told me that I didn't have critical thinking skills or wasn't able to read context clues.
Yeah, Amanda, your count. How is your count? Because we haven't visited your count in a long time.
Yes, this puts Shane up 5-2. Shane was up 4-2 before. But as far as we're shown, which we know they play a lot more than what we know, we're only shown certain snippets. This puts Shane even further up where he is 5-2.
Great. So after Montreal goes crying and all of this, that Lauren explained to us by being a good reader, basically, he finally answers Alexei. That has been coming like crazy for days. And immediately the music stops.
Everything goes silent.
Fade to black.
We know shit is real. Yeah, it's bad. So because Alexei had been blowing up his phone when he was with Shane earlier, like and Ilya's like, yeah, whatever. I'll deal with it later. But it's a little foreboding because the camera zooms in and you're like, huh, what's that about? Is it Alexei up to his usual shit, wanting money for drugs, or is something wrong? And so now after the game, he's in this like jovial mood. He's been ignoring him because he doesn't want to get in that headspace before the game. So finally, it's after the game he can pick up and be like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And shit hits the fan. So immediate title card for next day, Montreal POV. JJ, which is, as we know, Lau's favorite.
Lau's favorite. Wait, did you guys know that JJ was Lau's favorite?
Oh my god, did you know? JJ tells us that Ilya didn't go to Nashville, and Shane very nonchalantly, very coolly, very chilly as you'd go to text anyone about anything, texts Ilya to check on him, and he calls him that night and everything. It's very sweet. And then Ilya FaceTimes Shane, and he's obsessed with the glasses. This glasses thing, we could see Ilya later. He's like tapping his face for the glasses. Oh my god, yes. Wow.
The way, I'm sorry, Dan and Phil are all over my notes because I watched this reaction yesterday, and Dan is like, slutty glasses. And then when Ilya tells Shane, like, put them back on and does the like tap tap, Dan literally said, a man of taste. And I love that for us. Like the way that we get the two gays in the internet that had been so central to a lot of queer people journeys saying that Ilya Rosanov has taste because he likes Shane's glasses.
Yes.
It means like full circle. We're healing. This is community.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wear your glasses, babe. Wear your glasses more often.
We do get confirmation that Mr. Rosanov is dead. And if you look closely when Ilya's holding up his phone, the camera is in the middle of the phone, which is not iPhone behavior. Like it's like in the like of the phone. It's I'm holding it up to you two as if our listeners can see it. No, it's like in the middle. iPhone's like the camera's in this on the side, on the corner, right? And so this one, I don't know. I just thought it was a silly moment because if they're gonna have iPhones, maybe he has a different Russia phone. I don't know. But the camera was in the middle, and I was like, that's weird.
Also, Amanda, did we clock the wind sound to tell us we're in Moscow? Because it's like
no, I did not clock that.
I literally have in my notes like wind sounds for Moscow. Yeah. And then for the next scene after like the morning of the funeral, you get Ilya like drinking whiskey or vodka. Yeah, vodka. And you can hear like
in the building. Inside of the building.
Yeah,
so I do really love they include in this this is just like shout out to the like props people, the people who are working on Heated Rivalry for having like not only Grigori's like medals, but also the black rye bread. It's a traditional like Russian sourdough bread, and it is used like at funerals as a way to like break bread with the deceased and like give like the farewell gift to the person, like as a way to connect them to their roots. So the black bread and the Russian vodka is like really important here, and I really love that they like had that piece of this as well.
Shout out to Danny Mota, who thought this was banana bread and was really confused about why there was banana bread on top of a glass of vodka.
So funny.
He was like, is this like a Russia thing that you go to a bar and you get like side banana bread? And I was screaming at my screen like, no!
Have y'all heard the anecdote about the Russian grandma in this scene?
The what?
She thought Connor spoke Russian?
Yeah, they're like filming the scene and they're going to reset something, and she starts like talking to him in Russian, and he's like, what? I don't.
He's like, oh,
what?
I don't speak Russian. I don't speak Russian. And she was like, this kid's good.
Yeah. Yeah, she had to like have someone else down the table translate. It was a whole thing. But for me, I was like, wow, damn right. That's awesome.
Damn, this kid's good. Like, what the hell we got going on over here? Like, just yet another moment. I do love funeral Ilya. Like, I kind of love like buttoned up Ilya a little bit, I guess. That's maybe just me.
Yeah.
And I love how he pretends to be chewing food.
Yes. Yeah.
I have something like I really love when people pretend to eat in TV and movies. I don't know. There's something very satisfying about
Oh, no, he ate all of that pasta, by the way, in episode 6. Like, there's like,
I know. And you can tell the difference between like real chewing and acting chewing. So then he gets up because he can feel Alexei's eyes burning on him. Like he's like, leave me alone. So he goes somewhere else, and we have mirrors again. Right?
Yeah.
True reflections.
Yeah. When will my reflection?
Oh my God. Absolutely. Yeah. When will it?
And Alexei follows him, and he's freaking out. And you can tell how abusive this man has been to Ilya because of how they entered this dynamic physically.
Yeah.
Like as soon as Alexei like puts Ilya against the wall and is like, shh, shh, you can tell that this has been happening to Ilya since he was small.
Yeah.
Like his reaction is just like so used to it, and Alexei knows that he only has to make a few gestures to convey the message.
Yeah.
And to me, this is like a very good portrayal of an abusive relationship that has gone on for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But then, so Ilya is not defending himself, but as soon as Svetlana enters the room and Alexei insults Svetlana, that's where Ilya is like, oh, no, this won't fly. And I love the representation of I suck at defending myself, but I'm so good at defending my friends. Like,
yeah.
I show up for my friends.
Yeah, Ilya will take whatever slurs you hurl at him, but will not hear a tongue raised against Svetlana. Like, no one will speak against our queen.
Mm-hmm.
No, and I think that's like it. I mean, it shows that like Ilya is like very protective of the people that he loves, and like Alexei has so many parallels to his father. Right? They're both policemen. Yeah. They both were abusive to their wives in some way, shape, or form. They both have children that they, are not interested in raising or being with or providing for in any shape or form. They both have their own vices. And so I think this is also kind of the reason why Ilya cuts him off, is because he's like, you've taken so much from me. I'm not going to let you become like your father, because that would be like, I see it almost as like Ilya is trying to be like, I don't want you to become our father, so I'm doing you this like solid of not giving you this anymore. Like, it's almost like what is the word I'm trying to use? Like a gift? I don't want to say gift, but like, it's very much like, to me, that's how it kind of reads. It's like, if you continue down this path, you will be in this same situation. And so like, you need to figure it out now, And so I'm done like dealing with you as you are right now.
Also, the fact that Svetlana is the one breaking the like, you have two things that break the dynamic that disempower Alexei and empower Ilya. Mm-hmm. The first one is the death of the father, so there's not this figure anymore that is the reason why Ilya is trying to maintain some semblance of a relationship with his brother, but also Svetlana enters the room and Ilya can see the scene through her eyes. Mm-hmm. So he's no longer inside this routine that he has with this person, because he can see how it looks from the outside. And so that's when he's like, I'm done with this. This makes no sense, So I love that. I love that he's like, my niece is not at fault here. Mm-hmm. So trust fund for her, but you will leave me alone.
Yes.
And I will show you that I also have power.
Yes.
So shut up. And as soon as Alexei leaves, we get like something very similar to what we got at the restaurant between Rose and Shane. And it's this moment where Svetlana is like, I'm gonna open this box of Pandora and I'm gonna mention Jane.
Yes.
And
which she said, and it sounds like Shane, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah. and I love how she has been like setting up this conversation in the last few scenes that we have seen them together. Mm-hmm. And she's like, Ilya's like, I don't deserve you, which parallels her in the first episode saying you don't deserve me as a joke. And then she's like, you do, and I love you, but you don't want me. And I need you to see that I am safe for this kind of honesty. Mm-hmm. And that's where like Ilya gets it's almost frame by frame, like when Rose is saying goodbye to Shane after dinner, Svetlana is telling Ilya like, I hope Jane knows how lucky he is. She uses like the pronoun
he is,
and she like tells Ilya like, wink wink, I know what's going on, and also kisses him in the mouth the same as Rose did. And
yeah,
I really love that parallel. I love this dynamic. I love him getting someone who's telling him, I am not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And I love you. So go and live your life. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to still be here for you. And I want you to be happy. And I love her for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I also love the mirror from where Ilya says, I don't deserve you, which mirrors what she said in an earlier episode. But now she clocks that he doesn't love her like he loves Jane. Mm-hmm. So I've said it before, I think she knew that Jane is Shane, but I do think that there was that parallel from an earlier episode of the like, I don't deserve you.
Yeah.
And I do love that the Svetlana Rose parallels, because I do think that like, I was thinking about this, we've said before that Marlowe is like Ilya's Hayden, but I don't think Ilya has a Hayden. I don't think Marlowe is that for Ilya.
I think Marlowe is Ilya's JJ.
Yeah, for sure. But he doesn't have a Hayden, but they both have this like Rose and Svetlana mirror.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I think that's going to be really important for Ilya later on. But this for him, just like how Rose is important for Shane, this is another important emotional relationship for him. I mean, maybe they're not as emotional, but it's still a close, intimate relationship that he can have with someone that matters to him that is outside of Shane.
Okay, so channel Ilya as Shane if he's alone, and then they have this call. And we're gonna do a little experiment. We're gonna analyze the scene, of course, and Amanda's gonna get their points, and Lauren's gonna get their points. But first, I want to do a little experiment, because this is the scene where Shane invites Ilya to express himself in his own language, Russian, even though Shane doesn't understand it, because he knows that sometimes, as we have talked before, it's easier to express yourself in your own language and not to translate your emotions into another language. So, our experiment today is, since neither Lauren nor Amanda understand Spanish, and I am convinced that even though they know some words in Spanish, they have no idea how to deal with Spanish from Bogota.
Yes.
And my accent. I'm gonna just talk a bit about something that I thought about this scene in Spanish. So those who do understand Spanish, you get the benefit of getting that little snippet of my thoughts in my own language. But also then Lauren and Amanda are going to tell us briefly how it feels to be in Shane's shoes. Okay? Are you ready? You're locked in?
I'm ready. I'm locked in. I'm going to put my Spanish from 7th to 11th grade to the test. I failed out of it, by the way.
Ok. Bueno, una de las cosas que más me gusta de esta escena es que las expresiones de Hudson nos están diciendo todo el tiempo que sí está escuchando. No es como habla y ya, sino está muy pendiente de qué es lo que está pasando. Con Ilya está escuchando evidentemente las cadencias de la voz de Ilya, está escuchando muy, pues con mucha atención un poco las emociones que se están transmitiendo, y así no entienda, está ahí acompañándolo. Y es casi como si escuchara música. Esto lo he visto en varios comentarios en redes sociales. Cierra los ojos y es como si estuviera tratando de escuchar la música, la sonata que está sonando, la sonata de Beethoven, y así no entienda las palabras. Hay muchas cosas que se están transmitiendo que son no verbales en la emoción que Ilya está poniéndole a las palabras, y me parece muy importante, como no solo lo invita a hacer esto y deja el teléfono en altavoz y se pone a mirar y hacer otras cosas, sino que está realmente conectado con lo que está pasando.
Okay, you didn't tell me that you were going to go like telenovela speed.
That's just how I speak every single day.
I got Hudson. I got Ilya. I got Hudson's expressions. I got Ilya. I got something about the music. You did say muy, 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 muy at one point, so that was very, very, very.
I got no entiendo, where you're like talking about how Shane doesn't understand what Ilya is saying, but he's listening to it like it's music. Was that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yay!
Muy bien.
Muy bien. And that's all I got. That's all I got. So.
And I think that's super similar to what Shane is experiencing, because he also gets like names.
Yes.
Like Svetlana.
Svetlana?
You know?
Who?
So,
Who?
Perdón.
Yes. No, I think they both kind of have like a very like musical quality to like language, like listening to people speak in like other languages. So like I think there is like that part to it. I've also seen like a bunch of people on the internet being like, I would have Google translated what Ilya said. And I was like, that is not the point of this scene.
No.
That's not the point of this scene at all. Like, first of all, one, have a little fucking trust in your partner. Two, like, it's very toxic for you to be like, oh, hey, I'm going to give you this opportunity to say things in your language, and then, by the way, I'm going to go translate it. Like, and that in the book is, like, Ilya's fear is that Shane goes to translate it. But, like, first of all, don't do that. But, like, second of all, like we've talked about before on the pod, like knowing how to express yourself and, like, explain yourself in so many different languages is very hard. It's very difficult to do. It's very, like emotionally, physically, like mentally taxing. And so like to take that trust that a person puts in you and then to immediately be like, I'm going to go Google Translate this. That's so upsetting. Like it's almost how upset I get when my like when Meta or like Apple or whatever auto translates Bad Bunny's music. And I'm like, no, I like listening to it in Spanish. Like, I like listening to it in, like,
I hate this.
Don't tell me what Titi Me Pregunto is about. I know what Titi Me Pregunto is about because I know a little bit of Spanish, but like, there is like beauty in experiencing cultures in their like original supposed to be forms, you know, like they're like, it is so Western centric to be like, I'm going to go Google Translate this, or be like, I need to know what they're saying. Like, no, you don't. Let your nail tech ladies talk about you in another language, okay? You probably need to oil your cuticles more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you for doing this with me.
Yeah, no, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Thank you for doing that. That was really cool. Like, I feel like I'm so accustomed to how both of you speak and your language patterns, just for one, being friends a long time, but also editing so much and so much detail over the past like month and some, that like I could, even on a first listen to that, I could tell that it is so different from how you speak to me on a day-to-day basis. And so I can see that I've heard people say it before, but I understand it when I hear other people speak their languages. Like, you have a different personality. I think one of our fan mail people put it in an earlier episode. You have like a different personality, and I think that this little experiment kind of highlighted that, because like you were able to talk a lot quicker and a lot smoother than whereas English, you're still finding all of the words, and that's not a jab at you. That's just a matter of the fact of like it's so much easier.
It's your fourth language.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to
it's literally your fourth language.
Yeah, of course I'm not as upset and emotionally vulnerable as Ilya was in his moment, but I could feel my alertness go down. Like I was of course very comfortable. So I love this little experiment. It occurred to me at 2 a.m.
Yes, no.
Week. That was so fun. Spanish is so fun, and it's just different. It's a whole thing. I love linguistics, and there's a very close parallel universe where I studied language and linguistics instead.
Yeah, I think there's so many parts of Ilya's speech that like I'm glad we get to know as a viewer. Like, give him so much depth and like so much backgrounding to his story. Like, especially the part where he's like I know that Alexei and my father hate me, and like the part where he says, like, I made sure that my father was buried next to his parents, like, to show that, like, Ilya is so much more aligned with his mother, and that, like, her death, even though, like, Alexei and his father hated her mother, had such, like, implications on Ilya's life and how he was treated by those people for so long. I kind of wonder if Alexei is also, like, if Alexei is, a half brother or if he's a full brother. Because to me, like, it reads a little bit like Alexei is not Ilya's full brother. Like a little bit of like context clues from that scene. Maybe Alexei like was never really like aligned with Irina in certain ways. Maybe Alexei was very like jealous of the way that you know, his father like took care of Ilya's hockey career in a way. But I think it also shows like it gives us depths about Irina and about her relationship with Ilya's father and her other potential son. So I think it's like it gives us so much more about Ilya and like all of the hardships that we know that he's been going through with these episodes, but we haven't been able to put the words to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I also hope that we can get another Russian monologue in season 2, potentially with Galina, if you know, you know. But I think it would be really cool to get a parallel repeat of this, even if it's just as like a check-in of where Ilya's at emotionally, because Shane can do that with his family or with his friends or whatever. But I think if Ilya could do this again in this way, I think would be really incredible. And they're both crying, my boys, and just the actual like language of it all, but not like I love you and all I want is you, Hugh Paramore, I'm so in love with you and I don't know what to do about it. Like, this is, oh my god. So I'm gonna recommend everyone check out We Are All Teen Girls by Olivia Gatwood. I love her spoken spoken word best on Button Poetry, but if you want to look it up and read it yourself, that is good too. But I love the way that she performs it. But this is so, to me, this was so giving, like, we are all teen girls, because that is so, it's just like, I love you so much and my emotions are bigger than myself and I don't know what to do about it. And it's everything is just so new and it's so hard. But then they're immediately back to sex jokes and 180 with the I wish you were here right now. Like, they're so back and forth.
And I think this goes to show that, like, even though they've had like so much growth even over the course of this episode, that like they still don't exactly know how to communicate with one another. And this is something that we're going to see come up again and again in the long game, and is an issue like throughout that. Like, they, even though they've made so many strides, they've really come together. They are no longer this weird little situationship kind of scenario, that they still don't know how to communicate with one another beyond their initial ways of communicating with one another. Like, that is, it's very much like they're a little set in their ways in some ways.
Also, Shane is in a stairwell. Girl, why? It's so echoey in stairwells. Like, why? I feel like if I'm taking a phone call, a stairwell is my last place that I'm going. So why are you? It's so echoey. They're gonna hear you across the whole freaking thing, and you're like being emotional.
But he's not really saying anything.
I get it, yes, but I just, for me, it just gave me such a fear and like I had like such the anxiety of like, but anyone could come down and you're gonna, I don't know. For me, it was just like, I would not take a phone call there. Like, there's gonna be an echo. Imagine he put it on speakerphone and then it's just the reverb. I was just like, for me, I was like, a stairwell is not it. You need a carpeted hallway, maybe like a secret, not a secret, but like a closeted like conference room.
A closet.
Even the gym.
They need to go in a closet, Amanda? We've just done so much work to get out of the closet, babe.
You know what I meant.
No, I think, like, I don't know. Like, I think it's fine that they're in a stairwell. Like, Shane's not really saying anything, so I don't think he's really worried about, like, if he's echoing or not, you know? Like, I think he's just trying to find a private place, and that happens to be the private place.
I suppose. I still disagree, but you do you, boo, for Shane. Then we get 1 week later, TV announcer setting. So 1 week later, that means we're still in spring, probably March at this point.
Yeah, they're talking about making a playoff push. So this is like probably like mid-March at least.
Yeah. And this is when we know that Ilya's dad passing is public knowledge. We get Holanov meeting up at Center Ice, confirming plans for later that night. And I love when hockey players bonk helmets. It's so cute because, Shane is like telling Hayden or whoever, like, I was offering my condolences and he's such an asshole, whatever. And they bonk helmets and it's so cute. They just like dink. Like, they're like Barbies where you just like shove their heads together, you know? Like, it's so dumb. But in like a cuteness aggression way. I don't know. I feel a certain way whenever they bonk helmets. I really love it.
No, okay, but we all know that, I mean, yes, hockey players do bonk helmets out against one another. But hockey players will slap each other on the ass. They do a lot of like tapping with their sticks against like the back of their legs, which is like a classic hockey thing, or like the back of their, like, even taking their stick and hitting other people on their ass. I believe it's either the Washington Capitals or the Carolina Hurricanes. Before they go on the ice, one of the guys like gets down on his hands and knees, and the other like hockey players will walk him like a dog before the beginning of every time they get on the ice for the game. Yay.
That's kinky as fuck.
That's kinky as fuck. You're trying to tell me hockey players aren't gay? But yeah, usually the bonking of the helmets is reserved for the goalie. When the goalie is at the end of the game, you go, and if your team wins, you bonk the goalie's helmet as a thank you.
They do have like this little, they're like facing off, they have a cute smile, they have a moment to themselves, like they're in their own little world, just enjoying their moment, just like la la la, like might as well be fields and butterflies, and then boom, reality check. Just kidding, it's Marlo.
No, bro, okay.
Homeboy is down.
This pisses me off so much because Shane Hollander, the fucking hockey bro that you are, the hockey IQ that you have, and you're skating through the neutral zone not looking? Like, are you fucking stupid? Like, bro, like, constantly.
Love will make you stupid.
Love will make you stupid. I guess so. It's like, one of the things that hockey players, like, usually when they get hit or when something happens, is because they're not keeping their head up. Like, you're really not supposed to be looking at the ground and looking where you're skating. Like, hockey is a very instinctive game. You're not supposed to be looking at, like, your feet and where you're skating and where the puck is. You are supposed to be looking, your head is supposed to be on a swivel. You're supposed to be looking at everyone else. And so the fact that, like, Shane makes, like, the number one hockey sin of looking down or looking back over his shoulder while he's skating through the neutral zone, which gets, like, some of the biggest amount of attention in a game, bro, I was like, you fucking, of course you got injured. Like, that was so stupid.
Yeah. And it's literally 25 seconds into the game. It's nuts. We instantly go to the TV framework. So we, like, are not on the ice anymore. Well, at least for a minute. Like, Hayden instantly goes to Marlowe to throw hands.
Oh, absolutely.
Shane, which, like, the rest of the Metros should have been there too. They should have either been throwing hands or at Shane's head. They know to let the paramedics do their job, but they should have been throwing hands at Marlowe. They're just, like, hanging out. But Ilya is right there for his mans. Like, oh my god, it's just right at the start of the game. It's so sad. Yeah, and the TV announcers write it off as like, oh, he has so much admiration for him and blah blah blah. But we know.
Yeah, one thing that I was really sad about, like, that we didn't get, because it's a line in the book. It says, like, Ilya, they can see us, which is Shane telling Ilya to, like, step away because he's like, Ilya, they can see us, like, get away from me, basically, kind of. But I also think that this scene, like, you're in Shane's point of view, right? And so you're, like, drifting in and out of consciousness during this happening. And so you don't know exactly what Ilya is saying to Shane or what Shane is saying to Ilya. It's all kind of, like, very cut up and very jumpy. But we learn in the long game, like, because Shane and Ilya go back and watch this hit, I think, at some point together. And Shane's like, how did they not know? So I'm wondering if, like, during the long game or during next season, we get more of Ilya's POV where we get the line, like, Ilya, they can see us. Because I think that is, like, a very, like, for Shane to be, like, so petrified, even though he's, like, very injured, he just got injured on the ice. He has someone who's, like, there trying to care for him, and he's like, we can't let them see, like, even still. Like, it is instinctual for Shane at this point.
Yeah, and I wanted to quickly, like, shout out to the book Game Changers, because this also happens with Kip and Scott, but Kip is watching the game with his dad at the rink, right? And that's when Kip's dad clocks that Kip is in love with Scott, because he reacts in a way that is so raw and real that he later tells Kip, like, that's when I knew. And that's why, of course, Kip's father is way smarter than the commentators of this game, saying, like, there's a lot of admiration here. Yeah. Which we have decided to say is and they were roommates.
And they were roommates.
Version of this episode. But yeah, of course, like, when we revisit this, hopefully next season, and Shane is like, how did nobody know?
How did nobody know?
Kip's father knew. Like that.
Kip's dad knew.
Well, Mr. Kip is smarter than the average bear, so.
Auntie.
The paramedics do not understand him calling for his boyf.
Not at all.
So we get to the hospital. Shane is so happy to see Ilya. He's high as fuck. This is awesome. Shane Hollander has relaxed in his entire life. They love each other so freaking much. Can I put the accurate, or like the first initial of every word? Can I recite this? I actually did it today at lunch. For our listeners, I was talking earlier before we started recording that at lunch today, some people at my work were talking about heated rivalry, and I was like, will you come to my cottage? I recited the whole thing. Ilya, will you come to my cottage this summer? Don't go to Russia. Come to my house. We'll have so much fun. It's so private. No one will know. We could have a week or even 2. We'd be completely alone together. Oh no. The nurse walks in and he goes, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. And then he does like this.
See you next season. Thank you for visiting.
Yes, we are returned to our roots. We get to see you next season, because they hadn't been doing that in so long, and we finally get it again.
Yay. And poor Ilya is like, that poor boy didn't have a single minute of sleep the night before. And Connor's breathing act, like the way he's like against the wall, like breathing, and he's like sighing so much, and then he's Hollander. I can do that, and he really he thought he was losing Shane, and the way he caresses his face and all that. I'm just like, and then I'm a sucker for him, for Ilya doing shh, shh, shh.
Yeah.
As he leaves the room. Yeah. I just melt every time I see this scene.
Yeah, I recently read this fic called Concussion Protocol, and it's the flip of this where Ilya gets injured and he stays with Shane in Montreal. It's awesome. I was sick this past weekend, and I spent like 3 whole days, like from Thursday at 5 p.m. when I got home till like this morning at 8 a.m. when I had to leave for work. I spent basically that whole time horizontally on my couch or on my bed, and I swallowed this fic. It was awesome. I recommend it so much on AO3.
And you had nothing to edit.
I had nothing to edit too because we were caught up on pod stuff. So it was so much fun. I recommend. It's called Concussion Protocol. Check it out. But it is a flip of this, and like Shane has to take care of Ilya, and it's the whole thing with the parents, and he's like crying. It's way more dramatic than this. It's not just a simple overnight in the hospital and he's fine. But it's way more serious. Like Ilya's out for like the rest of the season and most of the next one. But it's really good, and the writing is phenomenal, and I recommend it.
So in the book, Heated Rivalry, Ilya is actually like planning to break up with Shane that night. Like to go to his house and break up with him. And then Shane gets injured. And you know what? I understand this because coincidentally at like the same time in my life that these two are going through this in their life, I was in a long distance relationship with my like first real boyfriend, and he was trying to break up with me because he was actually cheating on me with somebody else, but I got bit in the face by a dog and so he couldn't break up with me. And you know what? Wow. I feel that. But then also I didn't have like a really like he didn't have like a big come to Jesus moment like Ilya has in this next scene. And so we are, we never got back together, which, I don't think if we got back, I think if we got back together, I wouldn't have been as gay as I am. So here we are.
Hell yeah. So low-key shout out to that, but also like I'm glad you're okay. And
yeah, no, I cannot be around certain types of dogs anymore. It's really a good time. That was also like
I'm so sorry.
2017 to 2018, like that year of my life, like starting my master's degree, I like got hit by a car. I like moved into my first apartment with a roommate that was like issues. I got bit in the face by a dog. Like that whole year of my life, like from September 2017 to like May 2018 was a mess. It was a disaster.
You know what? Same.
You know what?
For other reasons, growth.
Same. Hashtag on God. Hashtag character development. Hashtag the lore. Real. So, like Ilya, I grew from my horrible summer 2017 moment into something even better in 2018 and forever on. And like Ilya, I got gayer. So
so true.
True story.
We love to see
you
it.
Overcame that. Well, you know who also grew? Shane and Rose's relationship. They're no longer dating, but they're good friends now, and she's calling him like a good friend and checking on him.
And asking if he's jerking off.
As any good friend should.
Yes, ask him about his jerking off habits.
I love this because I love this scene with Rose because Rose is like, I'm never gonna tell anyone that you're gay, and then it immediately is having like an on the phone.
She's on speakerphone
in front of like, a makeup artist.
Literally, my notes say, "Is she like?
No, she's not wearing
earbuds or something." Then Dan and Phil were watching this scene, and of course I'm obsessed about them today. And they're like makeup artists and people that get you, like groom you before shows or filming.
Yes,
they know everything. Like they have all the tea, and I loved it because I was like, oh yeah, this person doesn't count, not because they don't count as a person, but because they know this.
Right, and also they've signed NDAs up the ass, so like. They're not discussing any of this. And also, like, shout out to the person who plays Rose's makeup artist is another trans actor. We love to see that. We love their big lesbian secret, how they're both like, I wish we could date women. honestly so funny.
Well, I took that as Rose being like, "Oh, my big lesbian secret," and the makeup artist gives her a look, and Rose is like, "I wish," and the artist is like, "Same." I took that to mean the artist was like would have been into Rose if she was a lesbian. Like, I wish you were a lesbian.
The artist was saying, I wish I was a lesbian.
I wish I liked women.
Yeah. Oh, well, and also Rose is getting painted blue and says that the movie she's making makes no sense, and this is definitely Shane, and I'm living for it. Someone pointed out
movie didn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, I saw someone say that is she supposed to be like Jennifer Lawrence or something, and I was like, Lamau.
Yeah, she's supposed to be Jennifer Lawrence in the X-Men films, and this is supposed to be specifically referencing Dark Phoenix, the Sophie.
I miss being kidnapped.
Yeah.
And T, same.
I love that for
Ilya
her.
and Shane could kidnap me anytime. Take me to the cottage. I'm ready.
Oh, well, back to Ilya and Shane. Yuna says that Shane goes back inside, and Yuna says his ribs are hurt. We're putting a pin in that. Yuna is so smart and knows ball, and also his ribs are hurt. And also, can we talk about the Hollanders' fuckery of gender? I didn't know if this was like corn plating or not. If you know what that means, I can explain that too. But like Yuna was watching sports with the kid while David cooks, and I was like, yeah, it's feminism or whatever, but also literally not. She's his manager, and everyone should know how to cook. But I did think it was interesting that David seems to be a bit of a homemaker. I know.
I love that dynamic.
I love that dynamic, and we need more of that dynamic on television. So,
and also taking care of the home is also a real job. So even if he was a stay-at-home dad, he has a real job.
Show us that invisible labor, Jacob Tierney.
Yeah. Good for Scott Hunter. It's his year. And David said she's a witch. Okay. Yeah. Did y'all clock that Shane tries to get his parents to hate Ilya less?
Yes.
I was like, good luck,
He was like, no, we don't hate him. He came and visited me in the hospital. Also, I'm in love with him, and I've seen his penis multiple times.
Tasted it, even.
I've tasted it. It's been in my body.
They're texting, and we get Ilya boring count number 7. Lucky number 7. That's awesome.
Wow.
And then we get 1 week later. Everyone's in the same spot, more or less. Was which Yuna right? Shane hates lying, and Yuna knows he's not a liar. He tells Shane that earlier, but he's easily lying to Yuna now about who he's texting. And I thought that was really sad. Ilya is watching with Svetlana and a couple others, but everyone's really quiet. And
Ilya's random Russian friends that actually are real Russians, but we can't pay them enough to actually speak in the television show.
Really? Is that what that is?
Yeah, no, they we're not allowed to speak because we don't have enough money to pay for them. It's like how we never see Hayden's children because we don't have enough money to cast.
That's true. Well, also there's continuity problems with that, but yes, fair.
Also that too, but yeah, no. Ilya is hanging out with his random friends. Svetlana is packing to go to Russia, and Ilya is giving her some things to take to his niece in Russia, and
he's not going.
Yeah, because he's not going back because he's going to the cottage.
But we don't know that yet. Well, not for another minute or so because the Admirals win, baby. We get Scott Hunter. We cut from the TV to the ice where they're celebrating. Kip's crying. We're like, oh my god, it's the people from a few episodes ago.
Wait, they came back?
Oh my god, we know that. I know that guy. Oh my god, they came back. That was important. We don't skip the Skip episode.
Who are these weird people?
And Vaughn takes the cup, and the song starts playing. The song. And there's something about the lyrics with sunshine.
I need sunshine.
Yeah. And he turns to Kip, and it's this whole thing. And Lau is showing us her notes that we can post online with her little drawings.
Eyes.
Oh, yes.
Sunshine.
Yes.
Because everyone deserves sunshine.
It's true. It's true. Svetlana, come back. You must witness queer history because she walked away. There's too much confusion, but Scott brings Kip into the sunshine, into the spotlight, and kisses him there at center ice. In our notes, I wrote, Skip kiss! This whole thing.
And, the crowd goes wild. People are cheering for this. Everybody is so happy. And so it's
the commentators say, this is not something you see every day.
Right, but then they're also the crowd's going wild for Scott Hunter. Good for Scott Hunter. It's not just Scott Hunter kissing his boyfriend on the ice in front of everyone after he won the Stanley Cup. It's
everyone going nuts.
It's everyone going nuts. And we get Ilya stepping to the other room, the music pausing, Shane picking up the phone, and I'm coming
to the cottage.
I'm coming to the cottage. But also, someone pointed out that in the book, if you see my diagram, I have a tornado. And in the book, Ilya describes the way he felt while watching this as if a tornado had like uprooted his life. Like this changed everything for him. And if you see the movement of the camera, you do see sort of like a circular moment there that is like some sort of vertigo that is communicating to you.
Yes.
Like everyone is losing like the ground for a second and recalculating life.
This changes the game. They are the game changers.
Yeah.
They
are the game changers.
I also love how this scene is framed out, because as it's spinning, you get like Shane and Ilya's POV, so it almost feels like they are also spinning with Scott and Kip, and that you could
spinning was the word that I was looking for.
That you could like almost replace them with Scott and Kip throughout this scene, and that is like, that's really beautiful. I love David like clocking Shane getting up and being like so shocked about this, and like being like, there's something going on here.
Well, because he's a team captain, immediately people are going to start trying to talk to him to be like, oh my god, what's going on? But like their mouths are open. It's so chaos, and I love it. And this is such the quintessential Skip song.
And then it's so much chaos in this such a small scene, but it ends with this moment that like is like so solidifying. It brings us back down to earth. It like ends the tornado. It is like, I am coming to the cottage. I have made the decision.
It's grounding.
And it's like, no matter what happens next, like obviously it's a romance, so we're gonna have a happily ever after, but like no matter what happens next, we're going to be okay. And I really love this episode.
Yeah, this episode healed me like years and years of like a lot of stuff, and suddenly I'm fine. And last time I promised that I bring Dan and Phil on.
We're gonna have a Dan and Phil count for this episode.
Yeah. The way they stop like at the end of the episode, and they're like, you can see what it meant for them as well to watch this and to see this represented in TV. And they later go on and do the analysis and talk about it and say like, this is so important for people, representation. But their faces while this is happening is very similar to the faces of the characters while they're watching Scott and Kip kiss. So that was so precious. And I love that we all collectively have the same reaction to this scene. Even those of us who already knew what was going to happen because we had read the book, and even those of us who are reheating this moment, we still get the experience, and I love it.
Yeah, it's truly a great moment. It's so iconic. It's just so quintessential. And again, I think this is part of why this episode is rated so highly. It's why this series is so appealing to so many people. I think it's a really great callback moment, even if the timelines do get a little wonky. I do think this is a great way to like really engage the audience and be like, oh, you remember that thing that we talked about like a few episodes ago? Well, it's coming back now, and this is how it is fitting into the whole rest of the series and how it's going to flip everything on its head. And I think this is part of why it makes it so addicting, because immediately you want to go back and rewatch and be like, oh my god, I have this new information now. I need to go back and see it through this whole new lens. And I think that's goes back to our main idea here of why is it so fascinating, why are people so into it? And I think that this is part of it, is like the music, the cinematography, the engagement, how this is the idea of like this is such a public sport, and so all of the players and characters can kind of interface both from the ice, on the ice, from the audience, that sort of thing. I think that it makes for really beautiful storytelling and really conveys this awesome narrative.
So those are all of our lovely thoughts on I'll Believe in Anything, the 5th episode of Heated Rivalry. To kind of finish up, we are going to turn now to our fan mail. Reminder, if you would like to submit fan mail, you can do that on any of our socials or to our email, which is srspod@gmail.com. We would love for you to send us voice memos, but you also can just send us text notes or any like commentary that you want to have on episode topics or the show overall or any of the media surrounding it. This fan mail comes to us from one of my students, Donna, this week. So we're gonna let her take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm a huge fan of the pod, so I just wanted to come on and say a few things specifically about Shane's clothes, because I know you guys have talked a little bit about it before with his tuxedo and his clothes folding, but I think it's like a really big part of himself, and it's something that helps him appraise what type of situations he's in. So for example, with the tuxedos, wearing a tuxedo tells him, I'm hockey player Shane, I'm perfect son Shane, I'm publicity Shane, so we can't be doing this right now because that's who I have to be. But then eventually, in this episode, he gets a personal stylist who's giving him more clothes because he says he's sick of wearing athletic clothes all the time. And that's basically him saying he's sick of being this one-sided hockey player Shane, and he wants to incorporate more things into his identity. Because, you have all mentioned this before, but it really rings true that if you've ever met a hockey player or just any professional athlete, even just college level, it is intense, and it really takes up just all of who they are. It's difficult for them to express stuff beyond that. So Shane wants to get there, and he wants to bring his his love for Ilya and his feelings about all of that into who he is, but it's really difficult for him. So saying he wants to wear non-athletic clothes, that's him saying he wants to embrace this part of his identity and bring it up to be on equal footing as hockey. So that's just something I noticed, and I'm really curious to see what you guys think, because I do think since Shane experiences everything so acutely, choosing what he wears, that's a huge decision for him, and so it really shows where his mind's at throughout the show. So thank you so much. You guys are so awesome. I love listening to the pod every week, and I'd love to hear what you think about this.
I just, first of all, I want to say, Lauren, you have amazing and brilliant students.
True. And so true.
I love, because I didn't pick up on this, and it's not to say if I didn't pick up on this, you're brilliant, but it surprised me. I wasn't expecting that to be it. When you told us what it was about,
yeah,
I imagine something different, and suddenly I'm and I heard it before I did my rewatch for episode 5, so I was wow, this changes so many things for me. And I'm so happy. So I just want to say thank you, because this made my reheat of the episode so much better. I enjoyed that scene at the bar significantly more, and I didn't think that was possible. So kudos to you. Amazing.
So Donna and I have been talking because she's been giving me notes on she's been listening to the pod and then giving me notes, which I think is super cute and I love. And so she had made a comment a week and a half ago about when we were talking about in the first episode where Shane's wearing a tuxedo. And they're on the rooftop, and Shane's we're both wearing tuxedos. And so that kind of just put a little note into my brain about how Shane is the clothes that he wears throughout the show, and how it helps him differentiate different parts of his personality. And we've even talked about it before. I think we talked about it in the Rose episode, where we were saying that Shane was becoming more uncovered as he got a little bit older, that in certain scenes he's maybe a little more covered up because he's not really comfortable with the situation that he's in, even though it is related to hockey in some way, shape, or form. And so I think that this is definitely a moment when he kind of gets this stylist. I feel it's really a step into him as a queer person and coming out as a queer person. And so I think that it is going to be really interesting to see the ways that Shane uses fashion in kind of the future to do this. It kind of calls back to the fan fiction that I read to get into heated rivalry, or to get into hockey, and they kind of have commentary about one of the main characters after he comes out, or after he's outed, actually. And they make like commentary about his clothes as a gay man in like kind of a very like gross and like oppressive way. And so I think that's also going to be a very interesting parallel as we explore more of Shane's gay identity in the next series, in the long game, and like how other people perceive his fashion and his understanding of clothing.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you, Donna, for listening and for the notes. That's very sweet. We really appreciate that, the attention to detail. I feel like the first time I kind of picked up on the clothes was what we're saying, like where he's running with Hayden and is wearing less and less clothes, and then like workout clothes, and then at the bar in this episode with Ilya, he says he feels like he only wears gym clothes, and as if he's just kind of like trying to be, I mean, he is one of the guys, but he's just like really into the hockey mindset, really into the athlete, not giving much consideration to who he is outside of that. And I definitely think there's something to be said of the closet aspect of it all. This is him LOL coming out of the closet, but he in clothes. But I do think that there's the deeper analysis with like something to be said about what you were saying, Lauren, about queer men and their like how they are perceived or how they portray themselves. And there's a thing about being effeminate, or like back in the 2000s with like a metrosexual, like or being too flamboyant. Like there's definitely, I think, men's fashion and what men wear can be so gendered and critical, because all the time like we see like Golden Globes or whatever where there's like a theme and it's the same men in the same suits, just like maybe they have a sparkly tie or something, and it's never anything fun, and I want to see something fun and unique out of people, and sometimes they wear a skirt and we're like, oh wow, it's a whole scandal, but like women will wear all these different things and that's the attention, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know, I think there's just a double standard in fashion, and I think this is something that Shane can be a bit more dressed up, and it doesn't have to be tied to his sexuality, but absolutely this is related to his sexuality, and it's not that he is dressing more flamboyantly, it's that he is paying more attention to himself internally and externally. Like it's in the same episode we learn he has a stylist, that he's has this emotional coming out to Ilya, which Ilya is like, why is it a big deal? Because Ilya doesn't think it's a big deal. He already knows who he is and how he dresses. Shane doesn't. Shane was just getting day to day, thinking about the next game, thinking about the cottage, and whenever he would see Ilya, it was never that serious for Shane. But all of a sudden, it's huge for Shane.
Yeah, I think this even plays into like how we're talking about like Hudson and Connor's style and how they are being dressed or not dressed, and how they are being perceived or not perceived in many different ways. I'm so just thinking about like Hudson doing the Lunar New Year party in New York, which was also like his little birthday celebration, and the ways that he like plays with gender and color and jewelry because he is like very comfortable with that. Whereas Connor has like described his style as like more plain, which is not necessarily like taken in his photo shoots. Like I'm thinking specifically about the photo shoot where he's on the beach in the Gucci swimsuit, and he's also got like the singlet and the vintage red shorts on. I can't remember what magazine that was for, but like how like people perceive things about personality about Connor from there, when in reality when you see like Connor doing interviews or like out in public, he's like very much more of a plain dresser. And so clothes are definitely like a message and like how we portray ourselves to other people. And so I think this is like a very interesting like thing to focus on. Also, to all of the straight men that have stolen lesbian style, please give it back. I keep thinking you all are masked lesbians and then you're not, and it's upsetting.
Or even other NBs, like...
And you know what? Everybody needs to give black people back their style, because let's be real.
So
let's
true.
Be real.
So true.
The real tastemakers are black people.
Just like Gen Z slang taken from AAVE.
I literally saw a thread the other day, and it was like, what's your favorite Gen Z slang that's not AAVE? And no one could name a Gen Z slang that wasn't. And AAVE, for all you listeners, is African American Vernacular English. It's not slang, babe. It's a dialect. So, yeah. Thank you, Donna, for this very insightful
Thank you, Donna.
voice memo. I look forward to hearing your more notes from you always in the future. And yeah, if you're interested in sending us in fan mail, please do so. We would love
My
to.
students and Lauren's students, please send memos. We don't promise bonus points.
No,
for
you will
class,
not be getting
but
any
it would
extra
be great
points
to hear from
at
you.
all. No, do not say that.
All?
You will not be.
My previous students text me.
I was saying we won't give you any extra points.
I do not. No.
But
I am being ethically responsible.
we would love to. Yeah, we would love to hear from you because we always love to hear that our students are smart and like to do close reading. That would make me.
That would make you so happy. Yeah.
So. My previous students are like bug and plant people, which they'd be interested in heated rivalry, but not all of them are close readers. They are just here.
Get them to talk about the loon call and how it's fake. Get them to talk about the bugs in the background and how they really wouldn't have their doors open on the cottage like that because they would have mosquitoes in their house.
It's so true. That bothers me. They leave the car doors open, and I'll bring it up in the next episode, but they leave car doors open, they leave all the doors open, and I'm like, what are you doing? It is summer. Which I have a whole other gripe with them wearing jackets, whatever.
There were mosquitoes during the filming, and that's why we get these very funny photos of Connor and Hudson in like these mesh jumpsuits.
Not very funny, very hot photos.
and funny. They're also funny.
I did have a running bit with one of my student/friends. I called him one of my students. He's actually one of my close friends. Anytime the cicadas were like really loud in the summer, we would look at each other and go, loudest cicada in the world. I don't remember where it started from, but it's really funny. But every time I hear it like in audios now, I'm like, loudest cicada in the world.
Bro, I wish like in my next life, either let me be reincarnated as a cicada or let me be reincarnated as a cat. The cicada, because I want to only come out of the ground every 17 years. Amazing. I want to sit in a tree and scream. I want to fuck, and then I want to die. Like, perfect life. And if I'm not a cicada, then I would like to be the cat of some millennial who has no children and devotes all of their time, money, and resources like Cody on the bed in the background of Lau's video to me just being happy and healthy and sitting in a window or chasing birds. Like, that's all I need in my next life. Please and thank you. I think I have done enough karmic retribution this lifetime. Please, in the next one. Let me be a cat or a cicada, please.
Amanda, your bug people could talk about mating rituals and bugs and how they relate to the intimacy in the show.
No, and exactly. So next week on Since Rookie Season, we'll be talking bug mating rituals in the Canadian wilderness.
And the loon.
And the common loon. Which is also known as the three of us.
My best friend has been sending me a bunch of bird videos recently, like bird TikToks and stuff, and one of them was the loon, and I was like, oh my god, stupid Canadian wolf bird, and he was like, LMAO.
Wait, the hockey, the women's hockey team at the Olympics, someone gifted them a loon, and they named the loon
Wolf Bird.
Yes.
That and the Canadian ice skating team uploaded like this TikTok when they were getting on the plane to go to Italy. Like, we're going to the cottage.
No, the U.S. Paralympics hockey team, they released a video called Seated Rivalry and put it to the Maneater edit of sled hockey, which I think is perfect marketing. So we're all, and like when Amanda was telling the story at the beginning of the episode about them encountering this person on the plane, like that just shows that this is like, I'm not crazy. Like, this show has broken containment. I am not the only insane one here. And I love that for us. I also hate that for us, but I love that for us.
You know,
all
as
right.
we say in Spanish, unas por otras. It means you win some, you lose some.
Oh, I always say porque no los dos.
Me too. I do.
Oh yeah, but that's when you want both options.
Me, Hudson, and Connor. Porque no los dos. May I introduce you?
Unas por otras. Unas por otras is when you have like one good thing, but it comes with a secret bad thing. So you know that in order to get the good thing, you have
also
to
Connor
deal
Hudson.
with the bad thing.
while we are talking about some housekeeping stuff, I did want to shout out our show notes. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but after the first couple episodes, we started putting a lot more effort into our show notes. There's a lot of references in there and citations, further readings. If we reference like a thread or tweet or a specific thing in our episode or in our show, we will link it there. Lauren has so graciously helped collect a lot of further readings. There was that epistemology of the closet, I think it was. Other scholarly readings, they're all like free access. There's different journal article or different articles on hockey players that we mentioned. I don't know if it was like Connor Bedard, different people that we've mentioned. There was that hockey fight, the goalie hockey fight that I mentioned, of the highlighter versus Bluey. There's a clip of that in our show notes. So this is just
Haitian in Canada as well.
Yes. A lot of Haitian history and politics breakdowns in there. So this is just an ode and a love note to our beautiful show notes that we've been putting a lot more effort into recently. And you should totally check them out because they used to just be a description and our socials, but now there's actually a lot of hyperlinks. So please go check that out, especially if you are not skeptical, if you are curious about what we're saying and would like further reading and would like reinforcement. It is linked in the show notes. We will cite our sources because that's what we do here. We are scholarly. For the most part, we cite our sources. I will link the show notes. I will not make a bibliography. That's as close as I'll get.
We are scholarly. Lauren laughing in the background.
Kind of scholarly.
We try.
You two have PhDs and I'm
No,
just here.
Amanda, don't say that about yourself. We all have something to add to this podcast. We are all very valuable people. We all have backgrounds to add to this podcast, but also I think femmes and thems and gays can create podcasts about whatever they want, whenever they want, and it's only straight white men that we should police on podcasts.
So true. Say it louder for the people.
Straight white men, put down your podcast mics and go be electricians. The streets are dark as hell.
Yes, real as fuck.
Pick up a trade,
real as fuck.
Please.
We will see you loonies next time at the cottage.
And that is actually what a loon sounds like.
Period. Since Rookie Season is created by Lauren, Lau, and Amanda. The cover art is by Lauren and Lau. Amanda is our editor. Thanks for listening.